During those 6 months when you were drinking, I had an affair. My wife confessed 4 years after I got sober and we built a new family together. She begged me to stay. But the secret didn't end there. My wife just confessed to a secret that's been eating her alive for 4 years, and now I don't know if our entire marriage has been a lie. I'm sitting in my car outside a gas station at 2 a.m. because I can't go home right now and I need to tell someone what just happened. My wife Lana and I have been married for 8 years, and for the first half, I genuinely thought we had a solid marriage. We always talked about having kids, tried for about 2 years, and then found out I'm infertile. That was 4.5 years ago and it completely destroyed me. I'm not proud of this, but I fell into a really dark place. I started drinking heavily, barely came home, and basically abandoned Lana emotionally for about 6 months. I was so wrapped up in my own pain that I didn't even consider what she was going through. She was dealing with the same loss but had to watch her husband fall apart completely while she held everything together. We eventually got through it together. I went to rehab, attended every AA meeting I could, fought for my sobriety, and after I got sober 4 years ago, we decided to look into adoption, and things seemed to get back to normal. We ended up adopting 2 siblings through my parents' connections. They work with foster care. The kids were 4 and 6 when they came to us about 3.5 years ago, and they're 8 and 10 now. Having them in our lives helped us heal and move forward together. But 3 days ago, Lana came home from work acting strange. She was quiet during dinner, barely talked to the kids, and when they went to bed, she said we needed to talk. She started crying before she even said anything. Then she took a shaky breath and said, "Mike, I need to tell you something. During those 6 months when you were drinking, I had an affair." I just stared at her. "What?" "It was with someone from work, Sarah from HR. It lasted about 3 months and I ended it completely when you got sober. I even requested a transfer to a different department. I sat there like an idiot. I couldn't process it. An affair with a woman. I know how this sounds. I had no idea I was even capable of. I'd never experienced anything like that before and I haven't since." "Are you kidding me right now?" I could hear my voice getting louder. "What the hell, Lana?" She was sobbing now. I was so lonely and desperate during those months. When Sarah started paying attention to me, listening to my problems, offering comfort when you wouldn't even look at me, I got caught up in it. But it ended when you got sober. I swear to you, Mike, it ended then. But when the timeline finally hit, that's when the real knife twisted. So you've been lying to my face every single day for 4 years. Playing happy family with me and our kids while carrying this secret. I wanted to tell you so many times, but I was scared. She paused, taking in a breath. Maria's death last week. It made me realize life is too short to carry this burden. I can't live with the guilt anymore. So you're telling me now, after 4 years of lies? I was pacing now, couldn't sit still. Why now, Lana? Why now? Because you deserve to know the truth. Because I love you and don't. I held up my hand. Don't you dare say you love me right now. Part of me wishes she'd never told me because now I can't unknow it. Every happy moment from the past 4 years feels fake now. I haven't slept in 3 days. I keep replaying every moment from those years, wondering what was real and what was a lie. I keep looking at our kids and wondering if I can even stay in this house. I moved into the guest room and I can hear her crying at night. I know I wasn't innocent during that time. I was a terrible husband for those 6 months. I was drunk, absent, emotionally unavailable, but I never stepped outside our marriage. I never betrayed her trust like that. I never made her question reality for 4 years straight. The kids keep asking why mommy and daddy are sad. What the hell am I supposed to tell them? That mommy had an affair with a woman while daddy was drinking himself to death. That our entire family is built on a lie. Is this something marriages can survive? How do I even begin to process this? I feel like I don't know my wife at all. Edit. About the timeline, the affair was 4 years ago, lasted 3 months, and she told me 3 days ago. Yes, I've been sober for 4 years now. The kids don't know anything yet, and I'm trying to keep it that way. To clarify, yes, I know my drinking was a problem. I know I messed up, and I take full responsibility for that. I've been sober for 4 years now, and I'm not trying to justify what I did during that time. But I also don't think my drinking justified cheating and lying for 4 years straight. For those asking about Sarah, she left the company about a year after the affair ended. Lana says she doesn't know where she is now and has had no contact with her since ending things. Update 1. Posted 2.5 months ago. I've been staying at my parents' house for the past 2 weeks while they're watching the kids, and I went back yesterday to get answers. Lana looked terrible when I got there, like she hadn't slept or eaten in days. Part of me felt sorry for her, but then I remembered why we were in this situation. We sat down at the kitchen table where we've had 1,000 normal conversations, and I told her I needed to know everything. She started from the beginning, and it was so much worse than I imagined. During my drinking months, she said she felt completely abandoned. She'd come home from work to find me passed out on the couch. She was handling everything with the fertility treatments alone, and she had no one to talk to because I had pushed away most of our friends during that time. She said she felt like she was grieving the loss of our future children while also mourning the loss of her husband. The coworker, Sarah, was in HR and about 4 years younger than Lana. They started eating lunch together because Sarah was new and didn't know anyone. Lana said she found herself looking forward to these conversations because it was the only time she felt heard. Sarah would ask how things were going at home, and Lana started opening up about our problems. It started with texting about work stuff, then personal stuff. Sarah was recently divorced and said she understood what it felt like to be neglected by a partner. They started staying late at work together, going for drinks after difficult days, and Lana said it felt like someone finally saw her as more than just a wife dealing with a drunk husband. I made her tell me about the physical stuff. I know it sounds messed up, but I needed to know. She said it happened regularly over those 3 months, mostly at Sarah's apartment. But then I got sober, started coming home on time, started being present again, started trying to rebuild our marriage. Lana said she realized what she was doing was wrong and that she wanted to save our marriage. She broke it off with Sarah completely, requested the transfer, and even kept screenshots of the messages where she ended things. She showed me the messages on her old phone. Sarah was livid, called her a coward, said she was wasting her life staying with a drunk, said she'd never find someone who understood her like Sarah did. But Lana held firm. She said she knew she'd made a mistake and wanted to focus on us. The hardest part was when she told me about the guilt. She said there were times over the past 4 years when we were happy, adopting the kids, family vacations, anniversaries, and she felt like she was living a lie. She said she almost told me several times but was terrified of destroying our family. I asked her if she was gay or bisexual. She said she honestly doesn't know. She said she's never been attracted to other women before or since, but she can't say it was just the circumstances either. I also asked if she ever thought about Sarah during our intimate moments. She said no, but then she started crying and said that sometimes she felt guilty afterward. She said she sometimes wondered if she was cheating on me again just by remembering what it felt like to be with Sarah. The weirdest part is that I can see how it happened. I was completely absent during that time. I left her to handle everything alone while I wallowed in self-pity. I'm not saying it justifies cheating, but I understand how she ended up there. But what I can't understand is the 4 years of lies. Every "I love you," every anniversary, every family moment was tainted by this secret. She said she convinced herself that since it was over, it didn't matter anymore. That telling me would just hurt me for no reason. I told her I needed more time to process everything. She said she understood and that she'd answer any questions I had. She asked if I thought our marriage could survive this, and I told her I honestly didn't know. The kids have been asking when I'm coming home, and I don't know what to tell them. They're confused and scared, and I hate that they're going through this. My mom says I should consider counseling before making any big decisions. My dad thinks I should leave her, but he's old school about these things. I keep going back and forth. One minute I'm furious and want to file for divorce. The next minute I'm thinking about all the good years we've had since then and wondering if I can learn to live with this. Edit. A lot of you are asking about STD testing. We both got tested after I got sober, routine checkup, and everything was clean. I'm getting tested again just to be sure, and I've asked Lana to do the same. Update 2. Posted 2 months ago. This is probably going to be controversial based on the responses to my last post, but I've made a decision. I want to try to work through this with Lana. Before you all jump down my throat, hear me out. I've been staying with my parents for a month now, and I've had time to really think about everything. I've also been talking to a therapist that my mom recommended, someone who specializes in infidelity recovery. Dr. Martinez has been helping me process everything that happened. The therapist helped me understand a few things. First, the affair happened during the worst period of our marriage when we were both dealing with trauma differently. Second, Lana ended the affair on her own and chose to work on our marriage. Third, the fact that she told me after 4 years when she could have taken it to her grave shows she wants to be honest with me moving forward. I'm not minimizing what she did. The lying for 4 years hurts almost as much as the affair itself, but I also can't ignore the fact that we've had 4 genuinely good years since then. We've raised 2 kids together, we've been happy, we've built a life. Was all of that fake because of this secret? I talked to my parents about it and it didn't go well. My dad was furious when I told him I was considering staying. He said, "Son, she made a fool of you for 4 years. How can you ever trust her again?" My mom was more understanding but still worried. She said, "You two survived infertility, your alcoholism, and adoption. You've been through worse things together. But this is different. This is about fundamental honesty." My brother thinks I'm being an idiot. He said, "Mike, she didn't just cheat on you. She let you build a life with her while knowing she was living a lie. That's not love, that's selfishness." Even my sister, who usually stays out of family drama, told me she thinks I'm making a mistake. But I also thought about the kids. They're 8 and 10 and they love Lana. She's been their mom for 3.5 years. They've already lost one family. I don't want to be responsible for breaking up another one unless I absolutely have to. I called Lana yesterday and asked if she wanted to try marriage counseling. She started crying and said yes immediately. She said she's been hoping I'd be willing to try but was afraid to ask. She said she'd do anything to earn back my trust. I'm moving back home this weekend, but I told her we need to set some ground rules first. Complete transparency, passwords, phone access, location sharing, everything. She agreed without hesitation. I also want us to start couples counseling within the week. She's already found 3 therapists who specialize in infidelity and made appointments. I told her I want to tell the kids something age-appropriate so they understand why things might be tense for a while. She agreed to that too. We're going to say that we're going through a difficult time and that we're getting help from a professional to work through it. I'm not naive. I know this is going to be hard. I know I'm going to have bad days where I can't look at her without seeing the affair. I know I'm going to have to learn to trust her again, and she's going to have to be patient with that process. But I also know that I still love her. Despite everything, I still love the woman I married. I love the mother she's been to our kids. I love the life we've built together. I don't want to throw that away without trying everything first. We have our first counseling session scheduled for next week. Dr. Martinez said it typically takes 2 to 3 years to fully recover from infidelity, but that couples who do the work often end up stronger than they were before. I'm scared. I'm still angry. I'm still hurt. But I'm also hopeful that we can get through this together. Edit. I know a lot of you think I'm making a mistake. I appreciate everyone's concern, but this is my choice. I'd rather try and fail than always wonder what might have been. My family is still not happy with my decision. My dad said he's disappointed in me and that I'm setting a bad example for the kids. My mom is trying her best to be supportive, but I could tell she's worried. It's causing tension in my family, but I have to do what I think is right. Some of you are asking about Sarah. Part of me wants to reach out to her to get her side of the story, but my therapist strongly advised against it. She said it would only make things worse and that I need to focus on my marriage, not the other woman. Update 3. Posted 1 week ago. I wasn't planning to post again, but this week has been a complete shit show, and I need to get this off my chest. We've been in couples counseling for 8 weeks now, and I thought we were making progress. Then Sarah showed up at our house. Let me back up. The past 2 months have been the hardest of my life. We've been going to counseling twice a week, once together and once individually. I've learned a lot about myself and about our marriage. The therapist helped me understand that while my drinking didn't cause the affair, it created conditions that made it more likely to happen. I've also learned that forgiveness isn't a one-time decision. It's something I have to choose every day, sometimes multiple times a day. There are still moments when I look at Lana and feel that punch to the gut when I remember what she did. But those moments were getting less frequent. Lana has been completely transparent. She gave me all her passwords. She tells me where she's going and when she'll be back. And she's been patient with my questions, even when I ask the same things repeatedly. She's also been going to individual therapy to understand why she made the choices she did. We told the kids that we were going through a difficult time and getting help to work through it. They've been amazing, more understanding than we probably deserved. Our 10-year-old Emma asked if we were getting divorced, and I told her we were working hard to make sure that didn't happen. The hardest part has been the intimacy. It took 6 weeks to get back to even holding hands comfortably. We've been intimate 3 times since I moved back home, and it's different now. Not bad, just different. We're both more intentional about it, more present. I thought we were healing. I really did. Then Tuesday happened. I was working from home when the doorbell rang. I opened it and there was this woman I didn't recognize, early 30s, blonde, nervous energy. She said, "Are you Mike?" "I'm Sarah." My blood freaking froze. This was the woman who had an affair with my wife. This was the woman who had been haunting my marriage for 2 months, and she was standing on my doorstep. Before I could say anything, she said, "I need to talk to you about Lana. There are things you don't know." I should have slammed the door in her face. My therapist had specifically told me not to engage with her if she ever reached out, but I couldn't help myself. I let her in. She sat in my living room, the same living room where my kids do homework, where Lana and I have been trying to rebuild our marriage, and she told me things that completely shattered my world again. She said Lana had been lying to me about when the affair ended. According to Sarah, it didn't end 4 years ago when I got sober. It ended 3 years ago after we had already adopted the kids. She said Lana kept seeing her on and off for months after I got sober, and that she only ended it when she realized she was pregnant. Wait, what? Pregnant? Lana was never pregnant. Sarah saw the confusion on my face and said, "She never told you about the pregnancy, did she? She never told you about the abortion." I felt like I was going to throw up. Sarah said that about 3 years ago, Lana found out she was pregnant, and it was from some guy she'd been seeing. She said Lana got an abortion without telling anyone, and that's when she finally ended things with Sarah for good. I couldn't process what I was hearing. Not only had the affair lasted longer than Lana told me, but there was a pregnancy. And another man. How many lies had she been telling me? Sarah said she was sorry for coming to me like this, but that she couldn't stand watching me try to rebuild a marriage based on more lies. She said she'd moved back to town recently and heard through mutual friends that Lana had confessed to the affair. She said she felt guilty that I was forgiving Lana for a watered-down version of the truth. I asked her why I should believe her. She showed me text messages between her and Lana from 3 years ago. Messages talking about the pregnancy test, about the abortion appointment, about how Lana was scared it might not be mine. She had screenshots of everything. After Sarah left, I sat in that living room for hours just staring at the wall. When Lana came home from work, I showed her the messages. She went completely white and started crying. She admitted that Sarah was telling the truth. The affair had lasted longer than she told me. There had been other men, not many, but a few hookups during that extended period when our marriage was falling apart. There had been a pregnancy scare, and yes, she'd gotten an abortion without telling me. I asked her why she lied about this too. She said she was scared that if I knew the full truth, I'd never be able to forgive her. She said she was trying to protect me from unnecessary pain. Protect me? She was only protecting herself. I'm back at my parents' house. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I thought I was forgiving her for an affair, but it turns out I was forgiving her for a fraction of what actually happened. How many more lies are there? How many more secrets? The kids are confused again. Emma asked me why I look sad all the time, and I didn't know what to say. How do you explain to a 10-year-old that the adult world is full of people who lie to the people they're supposed to love most? I have an emergency session with my therapist tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do. Edit. Some of you are asking how Sarah found our address. Lana works for a big company and their employee directory is apparently still accessible to former employees. Sarah said she looked it up. Yes, I'm getting tested again. For everything. I should have done this months ago, but I trusted her when she said it was just Sarah. My parents are furious. My dad and my brother both said, "I told you so," which wasn't helpful. My mom just hugged me and said we'll figure it out together. Final update. Posted 2 days ago, I want to thank everyone who followed this story and offered support over the past few months. Your advice, your shared experiences, and your tough love helped me through one of the worst periods of my life. I met with my therapist yesterday after Sarah's visit, and she helped me realize something important. I can't rebuild a marriage on a foundation of lies. Every time I think I know the full truth, another layer of deception gets revealed. After our session, I went home and asked Lana one final time if there was anything else she hadn't told me. Anything at all. She swore there wasn't. She said Sarah was just trying to cause trouble and that she'd told me everything. But I could see it in her eyes. There was still something there. Some secret she was still holding on to. I told her I was done. I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't keep playing detective in my own marriage. I couldn't keep wondering what other bombs were going to drop. She begged me to stay. She said she'd do anything to earn my trust back. She said she'd take a polygraph test if I wanted. She said she'd quit her job, move to another city, whatever it took. But the damage was done, not just from the affair, but from the lies, the continued lies. The fact that even when I was trying to forgive her, she was still lying to me. I'm filing for divorce. I've already talked to a lawyer about custody arrangements. I want shared custody of the kids, and thankfully, because I adopted them, I have the same parental rights as Lana does. The hardest part is telling the kids. We sat them down yesterday and explained that Mommy and Daddy aren't going to be married anymore, but that we both love them very much and that's never going to change. Emma cried and asked if it was because of something she did. It broke my heart. I'm staying with my parents for now while I look for my own place. I want to stay in the same school district so the kids don't have to change schools. Lana can keep the house. I don't want to live there anymore anyway. Too many memories. I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm exhausted, but I'm also relieved. I don't have to wonder anymore. I don't have to wait for the next revelation. I can start rebuilding my life on my own terms. I'm going to be okay. My kids are going to be okay. And maybe someday I'll find someone who values honesty as much as I do. Thank you, Reddit. You helped me through the darkest time of my life. Edit, for those asking about Sarah, I blocked her number and told her not to contact me again. I don't know if she was telling the truth about everything, but it doesn't matter anymore. The kids will be okay. They have 2 parents who love them, and that's not going to change just because we're not married anymore. We're going to figure out how to co-parent effectively for their sake.